13 years after being accused of triple murder, Peter Bill is a free man. A Zanzou owner says he's sorry for the abuse of patrons at the club, and more children are gaining weight. Hello there, I'm Sifiso Zulu.
This is Eyewitness News.
South African pediatric surgeon Peter Bill has been found not guilty of triple murder and 2 counts of fraud. Bill was accused of killing 3 children he operated on in 2012, 2016 and 2019. The victims, who were aged between 1 and 10 years, died days after the procedures. The doctor was also charged with 2 counts of fraud linked to medical procedures that contributed to the deaths.
In conclusion, we are satisfied that the state has failed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, in considering the totality of the evidence, any of the various charges preferred against the accused, including competent verdicts, where applicable. The following order follows. The accused, Professor Bill, Inspector of Count 1, is found not guilty of fraud. In Inspector of Count number 2, the state has failed to move beyond any reasonable doubt the accused, Professor Bill, intentionally or negligently killed Ethan Chips, is found not guilty.
The High Court in Johannesburg has found that the NPA failed to present its case beyond reasonable doubt.
Well, as the NPA going forward, we will be studying the judgment. Our duty as the prosecution was to place all relevant evidence so that the court can come to a just conclusion. So, much as we understand the disappointment and what the families will be going through after they hear of this judgment, but as the NPA, we are satisfied that we have done all of our best.
One of the owners of the Pretoria nightclub, Zanzou, exposed for torturing patrons, claims he wasn't aware of the abuse committed by bouncers at his establishment. Neo Muela, a director and shareholder at Zanzou, spoke out for the first time since a video of the young men being sexually and physically assaulted surfaced. Muela's lawyer, Zola Majavu, told media that his client only became aware of the attack when it was widely circulated on social media last month. This is despite the owners of the club admitting 2 weeks ago that they knew about the assault.
What we can tell you is that up until when he first engaged with the police, there was no knowledge that the victims had reported that incident as far back as when it happened. If they did, that knowledge does not repose in his mind. Secondly, he has not and will not engage with the victims, lest he is accused of interfering with an investigation. I advised him to stay clear.
The Joburg mayor has come under fire for saying that the city will be fixing roads and areas that will be frequented by G20 delegates. Global leaders will be coming to South Africa as the country hosts the G20 summit this year. And to dress up the city's poor state, Dada Morero says areas where high-level meetings are taking place would be the first to be cleaned up.
We've prioritized certain routes within Johannesburg, which are G20 routes, to ensure that at least we can make them to be at the standard at which they should be. No potholes, no crisis or traffic signals that are not working. So we are focusing on that. But we are generally focusing on the infrastructure issue, including the water infrastructure.
Morero received backlash in the public for that comment, prompting him to make an about turn.
Mayor, why are you prioritizing these specific routes to make sure that they are in the standard that they should be?
2 things, Clement. Maybe it's a question of language. We have taken a decision at our Khotla, which was held in November, and then the Khotla specified and what programs needs to be undertaken. And in that Khotla, we then said we are going to focus on the inner city rejuvenation, we're going to focus on bylaw enforcement, and we are going to focus on service delivery.
The South African economy has avoided a technical recession after growing by a marginal 0.6% in the fourth quarter of last year. SAEC has released the final GDP data for last year, closing off a year marked by improved political and business sentiments thanks to the Government of National Unity and an extended reprieve in the crippling power cuts. In other good news, on the economic front, there's a slight relief for motorists at the pumps, with both grades of petrol decreasing by 7 cents a litre. The Energy Department says diesel will drop by 17.5 and 23 cents a litre.
The reason for this adjustment are as follows. The slightly lower oil prices on average compared to the previous period, and the stronger rand against the dollar, which contributed to a decrease by about 13 cents on petrol and 14 cents on both diesel and IP.
And a study has warned that children across the globe are gaining weight faster than previous generations. The report published in The Lancet has found that obesity is occurring earlier in children, while more than half of adults and a third of children will be obese by 2050. It states that the risk of type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, and cancer is fast spreading for children. Experts say urgent reform and action is needed to curb this. And that's it from us today. Thank you for watching. There's more on the Prime Media Plus app and the EWN app.
Eyewitness News, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, log on to ewn.co.za or ewn.mobi.